Here are some of the highlights from episode 1 with attorney Joe Freed.
I think that what you're talking about is endemic to sort of the human race.
Mm-hmm.
We are all scared little boys and girls struggling for our place in the world, struggling with our sense of belonging, with our sense of worthiness for everything from, am I worthy of love? Am I worthy of money? Am I worthy of success? Am I worthy of plug it in?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the human condition. So why should it not be true for lawyers or financial consultants or doctors or anything else in the world? You know, I mean, we're all struggling with it.
Have you thought of incorporating some of this, raising the awareness at the legal seminars or webinars that you do? Is this something that comes up for you where you want to incorporate this and have these conversations more often with people?
I do it all the time. I'm doing it. I mean, we're doing this right now for this purpose. But I mean, I did an hour-long webinar earlier today with a trial lawyers organization in Texas. I was talking with them about these kinds of concepts. I mean, there's the surface level stuff about, you're going to handle a truck accident case. You need to have an understanding of these legal things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you start talking about damages in a case, and you can make it very sterile. I mean, it can be, here's the prima facie case, here's the elements of this and that. That doesn't make anybody feel. I mean, if you want to get a big verdict, I mean, you think about what I do and what the people that you then are involved in the back end of these matters where you're helping people manage funds and all those kinds of things on the back end. And so you've seen how lawyers ask for money, and you hear people on listservs and they go, how much for the broken arm case and how much for the shoulder, shoulder. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a human freaking being. Not every shoulder is the same. Tell me what's connected to that shoulder.
One of the things that would shock me in the beginning when I first started working in this business used to be, somebody would say, I have a great case right now.
Awesome, a death case. It was horrible. I mean, it was awesome. It was blood and guts. I'm like,
and they describe the injuries, and I'm awesome in the same sentence.
Right, and they're going like this at the same time, right? They're rubbing their hands together. Let me tell you about this great case. This guy got really messed up. Oh gosh, he's going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Go, oh my gosh, are you a human being? I mean, but even beyond that piece, I mean, how many lawyers do you know? And I know you know a lot. How many of them take the time to go and sit with their client and sit and not only with the client, but even not with the client, just take time and clear everything else and just try to feel their way into their client's existence. And you talk about just feel their way into the whole thing. And it's not just the client. I mean, I took a deposition, I think it was like last week. Well, it was last week. Now I'm looking at I took a deposition of a truck driver who's responsible for a terrible set of injuries. And, this guy looked a little bit like a meth head and didn't look like the nicest guy in the world when I started the deposition. But, I started the deposition instead of the way you would expect most lawyers to start the deposition. I started the deposition by looking at him and saying, I've been preparing to take your deposition for a while, and over the last few days, I've really been struggling thinking what this must be like for you. And even last night, I was having a hard time sleeping last night. And I was thinking about, is he having a hard time sleeping right now? Mm-hmm. And so what's this been like for you? Objection. Objection, you're being a human being.
Right.
Objection, you're asking him to be a human being. And but here's what happened. 4 minutes into that deposition, whose witness was
Yours,
I'm
yeah.
the first person who actually treated him like a human being and said, what's this like for you? Instead of, you better say this, you better not say this, you better, I mean, imagine what it's like I mean, I work on cases involving truck crashes with horrible, horrible outcomes. People are dead and maimed and all kinds of horrible things. And I spend a lot of time with my clients and thinking about them and figuring out how to talk about their injuries and figuring out how the hell you connect that up to money, which usually is a weird thing to connect up. I mean, you don't say I have $100 headache today, do you?
Mhm.
I mean, except in the courtroom, right?
Right.
But how many times is the lawyer willing to sit there and say, oh, I really like that defendant.
Mhm.
That defendant is a really nice guy, and he is struggling like crazy with being responsible for the maiming of this family. And can you make room for humanity in that without feeling like your humanity is going to diminish your case, your client's case? That's what the disconnect is. People in my field, in the field and you study and you are such a part of, they think that it's a zero-sum game, that if I'm nice to the person on the other side, that diminishes my strength, diminishes my effectiveness, it diminishes my case, it makes me less than, it belittles my client. I totally disagree.
Me too. I mean, the most impactful lawyers that I have met that have made a personal impact on me are people who are very respectful to everyone, no matter what, no matter where, no matter how. And from the person that's an intern to a legal assistant to, an associate, it doesn't matter. They're the same person to everybody, and they're kind to everybody. I'm always trying to observe and learn, and these are people that truly inspire me, but they're also very much in touch with their emotions, and they're okay with it. And these are men and women, and they're the most effective attorneys that in our country today. So even though this sounds almost like we're having, it's cliche in some ways, just be a good person and everything is going to be okay. The truth is, it's very clouded, and then people do perceive kindness with weakness in the profession of law. And even when I am in front of clients and I'm speaking about money, I think people get very defensive when money comes up. People become very protective. And the truth is, the way I try to break the ice is to say that this is about you. I'm just here to help support you. This is about you. So no matter what the decision is, it's the right decision for you. It's the right decision for me. And that just breaks down all the barriers.
Well, but the thing is, some people say that they're full of crap. It's their sales pitch. And so that's why people are skeptical about it, is because they first have to say, is this person who's in front of me, is that really who they are, right? So with you, I've seen you work with people, and while you may say that, by the time those words have come out of your mouth, you have lived those words. And that's what's more important, is to be congruent. What they say is congruency. Don't you know don't tell me, show me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you demonstrate to somebody
Mm-hmm.
that they are more important than your sale, that's where credibility starts to happen. And that's the opposite of what you're taught in sales school.
Mm-hmm.
Work them. You're always selling. You're always selling. No, you're always either credible. You're always on display. And so it's like you said earlier, how do you want, you're on a journey, but do you want to be the same person to everybody all the time?
Well, it's exhausting to not be the same person, because I mean, I've done it, right?
Wow, isn't that true? And yet
It's
we do it to
exhausting.
ourselves all the time, but it's true. It's exhausting. You got to remember your lie.
Mhm. Right.
You gotta remember, what did I say to so and so?
Right.
I get caught with it, whatever. But for some reason, It's part of the human existence.